There's a story of a little girl, a high school girl, who was being chased around her classroom with a knife by another girl, and it was a crazy video. I did it on TikTok. Y'all go tap in with that video. I might even post it on here on the re-upload. Pretty much, you have two students arguing in a classroom, and one of them whips out a box cutter and literally chases this girl in around the classroom, knocking tables, desks over, kids screaming. The teacher, it was so bad that the little girl that was being chased with the knife ran for her life outside of the classroom. The teacher picked up a metal chair and tried to pretty much hit the student with the knife with it and stop her from leaving the classroom. But it didn't work. The student eventually left the class, ran down on this little girl, and chased her down the halls. It was actually a pretty scary video.
Oh, man, because she be having good shit.
Is that a pocket knife? She had a pocket knife. She had a pocket knife. She had a knife. She has a knife. She got a knife. She just takes Jada around the room with a knife. I don't know. She takes Jada around the room with a knife. I gotta know. My glasses.
I feel as if like what the Detroit school system did is what a lot of school systems should do, which and this happened in Detroit. The girl that got chased around with the box cutter, they expelled that kid from all of public schools inside of that school system, so she can't return to any public schools. And his this is gonna sound harsh, but a lot of these kids are going to be failures. Like, I'm sorry. A lot of these kids are gonna fail. All right. And you can't save them if nobody in their household is willing to help you save them. So, a lot of the times you got to drop off the dead weight. And I know that sounds harsh, that sounds crazy. You're probably like, yo, but these are just kids. But what about my kid? What about my kid who wants to learn, who's in the school because I work hard, but I can't afford to put him in private school? I work hard, but I can't afford to put him in a good school district. They got to go to public school with other students being chased around with box cutters. They gotta go. Like, mind you, we gotta worry about the school shooters anyways. We gotta worry about the crazy school, the crazy student who's being picked on since kindergarten, and now he decides to snap on the entire classroom. Already, there's no real fixing that. What up, Michaela? There's no fixing that. So, at the bare minimum, bro, we can drop off the dead weight. You know how they be like, you're only as strong as your weakest link. We got too many weak links. We got too many kids that coming from broken households, and we need parenting classes before we even look at regular classes, you know? And because of that, because of the scary situations that are in these schools now, we're jeopardizing the teachers even wanting to be teaching in these schools, and we're also jeopardizing the students that want to learn. Okay, it's hard to learn when you got all of these hoolies and bullies trying to pick on you and force you to do things or do X, Y, and Z things. Like, it's just too much. And I feel like I feel like and you know what's crazy? This is an American. Well, no, it's not only an American thing. I'm surprised, but this is like a thing that we gotta grasp, that we gotta come to terms to. I think we're too busy trying to save everybody. We're too busy trying to feel like, oh, everybody deserves a chance. And it's just like, maybe everybody deserves just three chances. Maybe everybody deserves a certain amount of chances before they got to go to this place. Because we got to protect the kids that are going to use those chances, that are going to use these opportunities to actually better the community. If the kids are our future, then we need to invest in the kids that are really going to take us into the future. I think the biggest problem is people in charge don't really care. Exactly. Money Quan. How would a teacher care if they're getting pennies and their job description is to teach, not to be a referee, not to literally put their lives on the line, to like, and that's what happened in Detroit. This teacher technically put her life on the line to save another kid from being sliced up. You understand? It's just like, why would they care? They looking at it as a means to an end, as a paycheck, you know, and they're not even getting paid. Well, in my city, actually, depending on what level of teaching you do, you can get paid, but that's not everywhere, you know. So it's just like, you got these underpaid staff dealing with these outrageous, rowdy kids. Something's gonna give, and what that something is gonna be your child's education. The way your child learns, the future of your child is being sacrificed every time there's a kid in there who isn't brought up with the same type of principles and morals that you instill in your kid to make sure that your kid can make it to the next level. And we too busy coddling and trying to make these kids be something that they're not. In your mind's eye, you think, oh, the future is endless. I mean, anything is possible in the future. But that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. You know, if you look at where the what you can tell what your future is gonna be by looking at your past. What's going on in the past and present is gonna tell you exactly what your future is gonna be. If you a hardworking parent, single mother, single father, or maybe you got both of y'all are in the household, you work too hard to let some other kid who doesn't have the same moral compass as you, another kid who wasn't instilled, who doesn't have the parents to instill these morals in that kid. You work too hard to have all of your hard work thrown down the toilet because some kid who doesn't know how to act want to bring them down along with them. Misery loves company. And they're gonna pick your child. And you know what's crazy? Because it's the kids, because in school you gotta be tough. And especially in public school, you gotta be tough. You gotta put on that, yo man, nobody messes with me. You know what I mean? So 9 times out of 10, the kid that's always coddled and loved by his parents and told you can be whatever you want to be, and love and all this stuff. Usually they go in, they're the deers in the headlights when they go to school. You know what I mean? They're like, yo, nah, I don't want to fight. My mom and dad taught me not to fight. I don't want to curse. My mom and dad taught me not to curse. Those are the ones that get picked on the most. And those are the ones that need to be protected the most. You know? You can't save everyone. You can't, because when you're too busy trying to save people, you're not saving yourself. When you're too busy worried about this and this and this, you're not worried about the important things that are in front of your face. And that's the problem we got in this country. You may not have all the time with your kid, but you got to spend those moments with your kid. You gotta spend those moments, and you gotta make sure they're the most impactful on your kid, because your kid is gonna be in school for 8 hours, after school for another 3 hours. If they got band practice, piano practice, sports, they're gonna be around a whole lot of other people before they're around you. So it's just like, you can't be on TikTok. You can't be on your phone. You can't be on Instagram. You can't just be watching the TV. You got to make sure that you know what's going on with your kid, you know, because your kid knows what's going on in the streets. because the students in the classroom is telling them everything, and they're not able to contextualize it and process it the right way without being guided by their parents. Social media is raising kids and it ain't working out too good. Absolutely not. That's the last thing you want. You don't want social media raising your kids, and that's exactly what's happening. Take them phones away. You know what I mean? Because now these kids are trying to do it for the, well, maybe not now, but like they've been trying to do it for the gram, but they trying to go viral. They trying to put on a show. Now it's just like, how do I look? You know what I mean? How do I look doing this? You know what I mean? Let me like do these. I saw, because with this whole situation in Detroit, I was doing some research, and there's some students from that school that have TikTok, because it's all they hashtag their school. So I just click it, and I see it's a bunch of kids with TikTok, and I know they're in high school. It's just like, why is your high school daughter trying to do kissy faces on TikTok? Like, why is your high school daughter like trying to, like, you know what I mean? Like, why is she trying to look cute? You know what I mean? Like it's like it's too much. It's too much. Social media is raising these kids, and I feel like the inactive parents, the ones that don't have a real grasp on the situation, those are the ones where their kids are more like, okay, you know what? What's going on the tablet? What's going on social media? Before, it was like, oh, y'all are letting TV raise your kids. Now it's worse. Y'all are letting the algorithms raise your kids. And the algorithms have nothing but destruction. If you can't contextualize it for your kid is gonna go down a rabbit hole that you probably A, don't want them to go, or B, you probably don't know where that rabbit hole leads to.